I'm the Entertainer.
And I'm Simeon Russell.
And we're talking New York sports.
Let's go. Entertainer, what's going on, man? I'm so glad that we're able to do this right now. I see we have a few people in the chat. Tony Crow is in the chat. Yo, Black
Tony Crow, what's poppin'?
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Our first live episode. We've been talking about this for a long time, and I'm just excited to get this underway.
Exactly, me too, man. This is going to be great. And hey, we got Payback Carter in the chat, so it's happening. It's going, man. And I'm happy to introduce our first guest, Ian from Jet Central. Ian, thank you for coming on to the show, man. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank you. I want to thank Chris for having me on. It's a great opportunity. And, yeah, man, I'm just pumped up to talk about some New York sports.
Yeah,
man. What a week one that was for your Jets.
I mean, it was crazy. I almost got my hand chopped off by, like, jumping, you know, and putting it almost in the fan. It was crazy. Me and my brother watched it together. Definitely wasn't expecting it. I thought the Jets were definitely going to be competitive, but no way did I thought I had no idea that we were going to drop 47 points on Detroit, in Detroit. So, I mean, what are your guys' takeaways from it?
One thing, Chris and I, in one of our episodes, I think just the last episode, we talked about that Detroit was probably the perfect matchup for Sam Darnold to be starting in week one because they're a legitimate team, but the defense couldn't give you something. Right, they got a defense that I'm not gonna say it's the worst defense in the league, but it's a defense that you can probably Sam Darnold could probably have a good night against, and but they're also a legitimate team, So it was a perfect game, I think, for Sam Darnold and the Jets to get started for the season, to really start off high and get their confidence going. And like we said, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like we said, if they could come out and get this win, I think Jets fans could actually look and say, you know what, it is possible, very possible that the Jets could be in the playoffs or contend for a playoff spot.
And I was watching the game, and the first throw Darnold makes, I couldn't believe the play they drove up. He throws the ball across his body, across the field, and he throws it right into the defender's hands. And I'm like, oh my God, what a horrible way to start his career. And you think their game's gonna go in shambles, and then it's the complete reverse effect. Everything goes right after that.
Yeah, I know. He did like his best Brett Favre impersonation just back, when he was with the Vikings, just chucking it across the side of the field. It was funny, I had a whole bunch of my buddies that aren't Jets fans. I'm from Florida, so I had a lot of Dolphins fans and stuff, just texting me like, hey, what about that throw? I didn't think, the game would start out like this and stuff, just busting my chops. But no, I'm really glad that Sam was able to bounce back. Same with the offense. And I was just impressed with the defense too. I feel like the defense is why we won this game. Just I think Jamal Adams had a pick. Tremaine Johnson had a pick. Darren Lee had 2 picks. So it was just awesome just watching these guys all fly around.
Yeah, it was a terrific debut for Darnold and the Jets. And like Sim said, I really thought if they could win this game, the Jets have a legitimate shot because they have a soft schedule to contend for the playoffs now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to jump to conclusions and kind of ride this hype wave right now. I kind of want to stay level headed and down to earth. But man, if we can make the playoffs, that would just be a dream come true. That would just be absolutely insane because that's something that I just didn't feel it was a real possibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you, Ian. From everything that I've been reading and seeing all over the place. Because I don't follow the Jets as close as you do because I'm a Giants fan, but a lot of people are saying the culture is just different.
You're spot on, man. There's definitely a different energy when it comes to when I think about the Jets, when I watch, when I watch games or even when I watch maybe a little social media video that the team puts up. There's just a different feel. It just feels as though the team everybody's thinking in the right direction and everybody's going everybody's on the same path. You don't have divas in the locker room. You don't have people complaining about money. You don't have players that aren't trying, like we saw last year with like Muhammad Wilkerson and Jarrell Revis, like laughing when like the Jets would give up like a third down and stuff like that. It just feels different. It feels like everybody is young and everybody's really, really passionate, and that's just awesome.
Yeah, I even sensed it last year, that them coming together with the whole dancing on the field, and Jamal Adams is a terrific young leader for that team, and I think him and Darnold, they really have the Jets headed in the right direction. If you're a Jet fan, you have to be thrilled right now.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just great, man. It's just really good. But like I said, I'm not trying to count my chickens before they hatch. I don't want to put this team or put them on a pedestal, announce that they are going to be a playoff team. I mean, I saw today that the Rams cornerback, I believe it was Hakeem Talib, he goes out on NFL Network and just drops his bombshell. He's just like, the Jets are going to win the AFC East based off of last night's performance. Wow. Oh my God, talk about pressure. So I don't know, it is, but it's all good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's New York fans for you, man. What do you expect? What do you expect? It's the same.
That's Knicks fans too. I see it in your chat all the time. Everybody says Kevin Knox is going to win Rookie of the Year, and we got to calm down a little bit. You got to, like Ian says, take your time.
Yeah, that's
Kevin Knox is. I'm really excited to see what he could do. And I'm not even like the biggest Knicks fan, but I just from watching like the summer league and whatnot, got a lot of friends that are Knicks fans, and they are all just pumped up that Knox is a Knick.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. Chris knows, Entertainah knows how I feel about Kevin Knox, and what I think he has the potential to do and be. So Ian, how you feeling about the Dolphins?
Well, being from Florida, I don't really like them, just growing up with like the rival fans like in my ear, 24/7. But it's a game where I feel like the Jets might sleep on Miami a little bit, because you can't forget they're 1-0 too. They have the same record as us, and even though I feel like the Jets are more talented, I feel like we're better coached, and overall, just like names on paper, I just feel as though the Jets are better. You can't just take Miami lightly. The games aren't won on paper; they're won on the field. And I felt like the Titans slept on Miami a little bit. And obviously, Mariota got hurt, and you had this big like hurricane or like lightning and all that crazy stuff. And the game was like super it was delayed, and everything was just wild on Sunday. But I just feel like you can't sleep on Miami. They showed that they could compete. They showed that they could win games.
Yeah,
and it's a divisional game too. You can never take, no matter how poor you think the opponent is, divisional game you could never take for granted.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. That's the thing. You can never take a divisional game for granted. If anyone knows that, I know that, being a Giants fan. I mean, I've seen Philadelphia do some things to us that just make me cringe anytime I think about it.
You want me to remind you about that whole Michael Vick thing where they were down like 25 points and he brought him back, the miracle at the Meadowlands?
No, I don't want you to remind me about Michael Vick or Deshaun Jackson or any of those guys, because it's very, very, it's painful.
Yeah, that was one of the worst moments as a Giant fan. That's probably top 3 or 4 for me.
Yeah. But looking at the Jets, man, just looking at their upcoming schedule, you got the Dolphins, you got the Browns. I mean, there is a good chance. And I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but any Jets fan has to be looking to say, wow, we can start the season 3-0 with have a lot of momentum going into the Jaguars game.
Yeah. I mean, Sim, dude, you just said it best. And it's funny because, like, right before, I hopped on this pod, I was talking to my brother about it, and we were just talking about, like, the upcoming games and whatnot. And we're trying to pump the brakes. We're trying not to get too big-headed and stuff like that, because I mean, it's one of the reasons why everyone loves the NFL is because it could change from a week-to-week basis. But, I mean, looking at the schedule, man, we got the Browns, we got the Dolphins. I know we have the Colts coming up as well. Denver in New York, so that's a winnable game. It's pretty exciting, but, I'm just trying to slow my roll a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you.
Pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Right on.
But it's so hard. After they look so good week 1, it's so hard not to get excited if you're a Jet fan.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, dude, you're spot on.
Yeah, but I think you guys are going to have a good year. I said that before the year started. I think the Jets are going to win 8-9 games. I think they're going to be a pretty good team this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, going into the season, I was thinking 8-8, but then when they announced that Sam was the starter, I was thinking, oh, okay, he's probably going to throw a little bit more interceptions than Josh McCown would, rookie mistakes and whatnot. So I kind of switched it from 8-8 to 6-10 or 7-9. But I mean, hell, they definitely proved me wrong Monday night, because I picked the Lions actually in that game.
So did I. I think we had the same final score, or pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say. So I was gonna transition into the Giants. We talked a little Jets. I feel like we should talk some Giants. Week 1 was a tough loss for the Giants with the Jaguars. I felt the Giants did everything they were supposed to do, except for Eric Flowers. The guy couldn't block. Eli didn't have time to throw the football. Of course, Eli missed a couple of throws. He missed Beckham in the end zone. But, it was a tough loss because the Giants stuck with one of the best teams in football, but they just couldn't come out on top.
Yeah, it's disappointing for me because I really felt that we could pull out a win. And, I came into the game, I'm going to be honest with you, I came into the game expecting a loss, but I was optimistic that we could get a win. And then as the game, then all of it, it was, what, 13-9, and then next thing you know, it was 20-9, and I was like, okay. There it is, right? And then Saquon Barkley, boom, right? I was actually at my daughter's. She had a fall basketball game, so I'm watching the game while I'm in the middle of, watching her game, and I'm in the crowd of people, all Redskins fans, mind you, because Redskins and Cowboys fans, because I live in D.C. For some reason, it's the same amount of Cowboy fans here as there are Redskins fans. I can't explain it. I don't know why. It just is. If you go into D.C., you'll see an equal amount of Redskins fans and Cowboys fans. Seriously. And, they beef with each other till no end. You can go into the grocery store. If the Redskins and Cowboys are playing, you go into a grocery store and you'll see two people arguing. Not arguing, mad arguing, but arguing with each other about who's better, or if one of the teams is garbage, they're like, it doesn't matter who we lose to as long as we beat you. I mean, it's nuts here between those two. But so I'm sitting in the middle of Cowboys and Redskins fans, and I got my phone out, I'm watching the game, and I really want to cheer really loud, but I can't because there's a game going on, and if I start cheering at something and nothing is really happening on the floor, then I look like a dummy. So I just had to kind of keep quiet and just watch the game. But when Saquon Barkley broke off that run, I was, man. And then we got the ball back. I was like, yo, we really might do this. We really might pull this off. But we didn't. But I was happy with the performance.
Yeah, Barkley and on that run, Ian, tell me if you agree with me. I'm sure you saw the run.
Yeah.
He reminded me of Barry Sanders with that run. I mean, it was a special run.
Yeah, I remember because I was actually at a bar watching all the games because the Jets weren't playing. So, like, me and my brother, went up a few towns just to catch every game on this the 1 o'clock slate. And I went outside, I grabbed some fresh air, and the minute I walk back inside, I just hear the whole bar just flipping out, and then I glance up at the screen, I just see Saquon Barkley just booking it down the sideline, and that was an incredible run. I believe that Saquon Barkley was a great pick for you guys. I know there's been a lot of talk, they should have picked whatever, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, whoever it was. But no, I think Saquon Barkley, he's looking really, really good. He's looked really promising so far. So great run by Saquon in his NFL debut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, son.
Yeah, that's one of the things you just brought it up, Ian, that disappointed me about the week one with the Giants is that so many people, because Sam Darnold, had a good week, turned around and said, see, the Giants should have drafted. You always go for the quarterback. You should have drafted Sam Darnold. You shouldn't have drafted Saquon Barkley. And I'm like, one, for both players, it's 1 week in the NFL. 1 week for both players. So you both of them could come out next week and lay an egg, right? But it just disappointed me. I still believe Eli Manning has 2 or 3 more good years, and I think there'll be time to get a quarterback.
Yeah, and you also have to take into account the opponent. I mean, Barkley yeah, for the most part, he was held in check, other than that one run. Mm-hmm. I was a little disappointed he wasn't used a lot in the passing game. I expect them to use him more this week. But you also have to take into account the opponent, right? Barkley went up against the best defense in football.
Yeah.
So I expect him to be more consistent this week when they go up against Dallas. They don't have the same run defense that the Jaguars have.
Exactly.
Yeah, and plus, let me just piggyback off that. And I'm a Jets fan, so I kind of root against the Giants. But as far as the Giants like passing on a quarterback and stuff, I actually don't think it's that hard to like find your franchise quarterback. I feel like a lot of fans out there are just like slamming the Giants, saying like, "Oh, you guys are screwed for the next 10 years." I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, next year, if the Giants really want a quarterback, they could just, pick one in the draft or try to get a developmental guy like in the later rounds, or maybe they just want to say screw and trade up in the draft. I don't think it's as hard as the Jets really made it out to be over the past, 10, 15 seasons. I just felt like the Jets just had crappy luck with it.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think it's going to, I mean, if anything, I don't even mind getting just a game manager until you get your franchise quarterback if you have to. I don't mind doing that. Just someone who can manage the game and get you up the field without making spectacular plays, especially if you have someone like Saquon Barkley who can make Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham. These guys can make spectacular plays for you if you just get them the ball in the right place, in the right spot on the field.
Yeah, you said that perfectly, Sam. You got playmakers like that: Barkley, Ingram, Shepard, Beckham, rather. You got guys like that. They're going to make the quarterback a lot better. Leletta might be the answer. We don't know. Leletta might come in, and they might make him look so much better than what he really is.
Right.
Because when you have weapons like that, it's going to amplify your quarterback.
Yeah, and plus, like, the whole left side of your offensive line now is solidified with Solder and Will Hernandez, two guys that I really like.
Exactly. But I will say this, though. I am rooting for the Jets to lose to the Jaguars. Just because we lost to the Jaguars. I just don't want them to have an upper hand on us. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Hey, I don't blame you, man. I pretty much root for the Giants to lose every game, so.
See, I never got that hate. I'm Giants first, but I always root for the Jets. I never root against the Jets unless they're versus the Giants. I never got that. I don't see. I mean, I get it. You know what it is, though? I get where you're coming from, Ian, because I'm a big Met fan, and I can't stand the Yankees. So I get where you're coming from, the whole little brother, big brother thing. Yeah. But with football, I never got it. I have a ton of friends who are Jet fans. When the Giants were playing the Patriots in the Super Bowl, they were rooting for the Patriots. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked.
Yeah, right. I'm the same way. I root for the Jets to win unless they're playing the Giants. But in this case, just because I don't want the Jets to be better than the Giants, I want them to also lose to the Jaguars.
I've always kind of viewed it as like the Giants were like kind of like the successful older brother, and like the Jets were like the little brother, the pesky little brother that like always wants to beat up the older one, but just the older brother just always beats him up, So I feel like there's always a little bit of that animosity.
Yeah, that's cool though. I just want to read out a couple things in the chat. There's a couple people in the chat commenting. Slick Nick, he was like, Sim, what? When I said that I want the Jets to lose to the Jaguars. Rice Hasselman, he just said, hey, Jet Central, saying what's up to you.
What's going on, man?
And Slick Nick is at me. Slick Nick is at me. Is like, thought I was cool. I mean, I am cool, Slick Nick. I'm saying I root for the Jets. I just want the Giants to be better. Payback Carter said Barkley was a good pick for the Giants. It's true you don't pass on the franchise quarterback though. Bert the Great said I always root against the Giants. Jet up. Tanzer says jet up. Don't sleep. Yeah.
We got a lot of Jets fans in the chat.
Yeah, man. You know what? On the Nothing But Knicks, we get a lot of Jet fans in Nothing But Knicks chat too. A lot of Jet fans there.
And let them know. Anybody who wants to call in, Sim, is the number on the
you can call
on the screen?
Yeah, 516-405-2246. This is the first time that we're doing this stream, so hopefully everything is together with it. I'm pretty sure that it is. But yeah, if you want to call in, you can call in at 516-405-2246. Let us know what you think about Jets, Giants. We have yet to get into the Giants and Cowboys, but we're going to do a little Giants and Cowboys preview. So give us a call. And whenever you're ready, give us a call. So, Entertainah, what do you think about Giants Cowboys?
Okay, yeah, Giants Cowboys. My personal opinion, the Giants last year tried to air it out against the Cowboys, and I think that you got to take the reverse approach. They have to have ball control because you have to keep that Cowboy offense off the field, because when that Cowboy offense is on the field, they punish the defense with the running attack with Elliott, and over the course of time, like a boxing match with the body blows, it's going to wear down your defense. So if I'm Shermer on Sunday night, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to control the clock, and I'm trying to pound the ball with Saquon Barkley. That's what we drafted him for, and I want at least 34 minutes of time of possession in this game. If the Giants do that, they're going to run away with this game.
Okay, yeah. Are you as afraid of this Cowboys offense as you might have been last year? Because this
because they lost their two best weapons. They lost Whitney and they lost Des Bryant.
Right. I mean, last week they scored 8 points last week?
Yeah.
Against Carolina, right? They played Carolina. I don't know. I'm not as afraid of this offense, but like you said, it's a division game, so anything can happen. So we got a caller. We got our first caller. Let's see what they got to say. Caller, you're on live with NBNY. What's going on?
Sam, what's going on, man? It's Payback Carter.
Hey, Payback, hey. What's popping with you, bro?
What's popping?
What's going on, man? Jet Central, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
Shout out to you guys,
Payback, you're a Cowboys fan, ain't you?
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
That's something Giant fans don't forget.
Yeah, you don't forget it.
I know that. I'm also a Jets fan, though. I can't root for the Giants, so I got to go for my Jets. It's all about New York.
Okay.
So, who do you think's gonna win the game Sunday night?
Come on,
Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, Payback. Be honest with yourself, man.
I'm going for my boys. I'm going for my boys.
I know you're rooting for them, but be honest about who you really think in your heart is gonna win. Be honest. I know you're rooting for them, but be honest.
To be honest with you, the way our offense was looking on Sunday, I think the Giants might have a little edge. But the way our defense was looking, I think we might pull it off. It's gonna be a close game, being that.
So you don't know. You think it's gonna be up in the air? You could go either way.
It's gonna be either way. To be honest with you, because our offense is really suspect this year. It's like Scott Linehan is calling plays from 2007.
Yeah. It's always a crazy game versus the Cowboys in Cowboy Stadium, so you never know what's going to happen.
It's a division game. You know how that goes.
Always a crazy game.
But I'm gonna give you one thing, Entertainah. You said it earlier on your show. We are 7 and 7-3.
When you win time of possession? Well, no,
7-3 in the last how many what?
Against the Giants, yeah, you guys are 7-3 and you swept us last year, which means that we're due.
Exactly. That means we're due.
Carolina did a good job of controlling Ezekiel Elliott on Sunday.
Sorry about that, guys. I was just looking up some stats and video popped up. Sorry about that.
Yeah. One thing too, I kind of want to add in is 7 seconds left.
So there you go.
No, I feel like the Cowboys' defensive line, like especially if you put Lawrence on the right side, having to go against Flowers, that'd be crazy.
I mean, Flowers. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence, he's our left end, so he's gonna be lining up with Flowers. So it's gonna be a rough night for Flowers.
Don't remind me about Flowers, man. This guy, oh my goodness, this guy.
If the Giants are smart, they'll switch Nate Shielder on the other side.
Yeah, or they got to at least give him help. There's no way he could guard Lawrence by himself. Lawrence has a sack. I looked that up. He has a sack, I think, in like his last 8 or 9 games dating back to last year.
Right.
Yeah, he's a beast.
So to be honest, that's right. If you guys double team Lawrence, to be honest, I don't see anybody else getting to Eli. To be honest.
Yeah, your linebackers are very good. I mean, I didn't see the rookie yet, but everybody was very high on him. Von Der Esch, is that his name? Von Der Esch, and then you got Sean Lee. So your linebacker, you have good linebackers too.
He's coming off a little tweak on a hamstring. That's why you didn't really see him too much in the preseason. He didn't really play much in the preseason. He's coming off a little hamstring injury. Nothing serious.
What do you think the Cowboys' weakness is on defense?
To be honest, right now, coverage.
Secondary. So you could. I mean, based on that, because the Giants' weakness, I think we could all agree, is probably Eli Apple in the secondary as well on defense. You think this potentially could be a shootout?
Yeah, I think so. But to be honest, from what I've seen in week 1, being that we have Chris Richards, or Chris Roussard, excuse me, I think his name is, the new defensive coordinator that we got from Seattle. The way that I see that he wants to play aggressive, up man with these corners, I've seen that in the first week with Dallas. So we might see that in the second week. They might be really aggressive with Odell and Sterling. You might see that aggressiveness with the DBs this week. Something different.
Yeah, I mean, one thing
we played a lot of zone in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I wish the Cowboys made a trade for Earl Thomas. I know there was some like rumblings and stuff like that on social media, but I was really hoping that trade would go through, because I feel like he would definitely be a huge help for Dallas's like secondary and whatnot.
Right. To be honest, I really wish that would have went through too. I don't know what's going on with. I think it's gonna go. I don't know, because Jerry offered a 3rd rounder during the draft and he shut it down. He offered him a 2nd rounder not too long ago and he shut it down again. So it's something that's in the mix. There's something in the mix that it's going to pull through. I feel being that they play the Seahawks, their first home opener, week 3, they don't want to see, like they say, they don't want to see Earl Thomas, their home opener. They don't want to do that. So why trade him? We could wait. I think it's going to happen this year. He's going to come to Dallas. I believe it. They just don't want to give him up, being that we play them their home opener. That's just me. That's just my opinion. That's how I think. That's what I see.
One thing I noticed on Sunday with Dallas was, and I couldn't believe it, they only gave Zeke 15 carries. I didn't understand that. What was with the play calling with that?
I didn't understand that either. That's 15 carries is something he should have had in the first quarter.
Yeah. I mean, with Zeke, you want him to get. If I'm a Cowboy fan, as a Giant fan, I pray to God you guys give him only 15 carries come Sunday night.
Exactly.
So don't tell him I'm telling you. I don't want to give him any ideas. But if I'm a Cowboy fan, I want at least 25 carries every game for Zeke, because that's your strength, running behind the big mollies with Zeke.
Right. Zeke can get it and get us that yards. If you look at it, Zeke, he went out, played 10. He left week 10. He put up 900 yards in week 10 in 10 weeks.
Right.
Not a lot of running backs do that.
He's an animal. The only thing I'd be concerned with this week is Frederick's out, because you guys didn't look like the same offensive line last week when Frederick didn't play.
When the center, we all know the center is the key to the offense. He sets everything. The offensive line, he coordinates everything. So not having Travis Frederick there is big. That's a big minus on the offensive line for us while he's out. A big minus.
Let me ask you.
I see. Go ahead, Sim.
Do you think Hearns is going to come through for you guys this season?
Allen Hearns. I mean,
he was one.
It depends on. It depends on, can Dak get him the ball?
Okay. He was.
Can Dak get him the ball?
1 reception for 20 yards.
Yeah. How many targets he had? What? 2 targets.
Yeah.
Cole Beasley had most of the targets. You got one. If that can get him the ball, maybe. I mean, he had a productive year last year in Jacksonville. We can see, like I said, it's just the play calling, like something that Troy Aikman had brought up during the broadcast about North Turner, when North Turner was there with them, and now that North Turner's in Carolina, he adjusted to the game. North Turner adjusted to the game. Like, he looked at other teams' offensive plays, and like he just, put them together and made up something like on his own. Something that Scott Linehan, our offensive coordinator, does not do.
Yeah.
Predictable plays.
Well, you know, I'll just say this, man. If you know, if your receiving core is gonna turn it around, I hate to say it, but you know, the Giants, you know, defensive backs, you know, were a little bit suspect, and you know, this could be the game for you guys to do it. I don't want to talk it up though, but it could be. It could be the game for you guys to do it, man.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Sim. To be honest with you, I like Jack Rabbit Jenkins, the cornerback you guys have.
Yeah,
me too.
I like that guy.
Yeah,
you know,
he's a top 5. He's a top 5 corner to me. He's an elite cornerback.
He's consistent. Yeah. He's consistent. I'm not a Giants fan, but I give credit when credit is due because I'm a football fan. So he's a consistent player. So I don't think any receivers that we have right now on this team. I think he could lock down any receiver on that team. We don't have any receivers on this team that he's not going to lock down. Allen Hurns, he's going to lock him down. It's going to be rough for our receivers, I believe. The Giants secondary might be strong this Sunday.
We'll see.
Because we don't have the receivers that's really.
That's true.
Eli Apple stepped up. He did his little thing. He had a little game. He showed out week 1.
Yeah, he played well. I was happy for him. He played well.
Yeah, he played great week 1. The Dallas is going to target Beasley. They always do. And the Giants have to find a way to combat that. I don't know if they're going to put a linebacker on him, if they're going to put Collins on him. It'll be interesting. What would you do in that situation? How would you guard Beasley?
Well, you know, obviously you guys know the Giants personnel a lot better than I do. But, I mean, if I was the Giants defensive coordinator, first things first, I would focus on stopping the run. Because if you could stop the run and make Dak try to beat you over the top and really just make him throw to beat you, I think the Giants have this game in the bag. But the thing is that if the Cowboys can run the ball and they're, you know, picking up first downs consistently, just wasting clock with the home crowd, you know, home opener in Dallas against, you know, one of their, if not the biggest rival they have, I think Dallas will have pretty much the complete control of this game if they're just able to run the ball consistently. But to answer your question, I would say, I mean, who's your slot corner now? I know you have Eli Apple and Janoris, but who's the slot guy?
They're not. Sorry, they don't have a set slot corner. They don't have a guy that's you know, yeah.
Well, you know, if Cole Beasley is truly, I would say, the number 1 threat of Dallas's wide receiver core, and if Janoris is comfortable with this, I would say I would put Janoris on him and just follow him all game. And I know they're 2 different skill sets. You know, Cole's obviously a lot quicker. He's shorter. He's probably a lot better, you know, within the the inside of the field, not so much on the outside. But if Janoris is up to the challenge to follow him, I would just stick Eli Apple on one side of the field and then play that 4th or 3rd corner on the opposite side, you know, and just try to make Dak beat you.
Yeah, because I don't think Dak's going to hit the wide receivers on the outside. I really don't. I think Beasley is really the biggest threat on this offense in terms of catching the football.
Yeah, or another thing you could do too is just load the box and have that strong safety come down and throw a lot of cover 1 out there to where you have 8 men in the box. So anything over the middle will just be shut down within the first 3-4 yards.
I see you got a question in the chat, Ian, from I think one of your Jet fans. He's asking you how do you feel about the Jets O-line?
Jets O-line, you know, I don't love it, and to be honest with you, I don't even like it. But they did prove me wrong. I thought they did really well against Detroit, exceptionally well, honestly. I did not think they would be this good. And granted, it's only 1 week, but I would still address it in the offseason, maybe through the draft or free agency. But I don't know. Right now, I would say I would give it a D+ or a C-, to be honest.
I see Steve Perez just joined the chat. He's always commenting on our videos. He's one of my favorite subscribers. He just said what's up to us. So what's up, Steve?
Hey, Steve, how's it going, man?
Hey, Payback, I know it might be a couple other people that want to call in, so I'm going to let you go, all right?
All right.
Yes, thank you for calling in. And I'm sure we always talk on Twitter.
It's a pleasure. Thanks.
Who do you got this week in fantasy, by the way?
Freezy. Me and Freezy. It's me and Freezy.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, if he's listening, just let him know.
Yeah. Thank you again. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, man. Thank you for being our first caller, man. Appreciate it. Peace.
All right.
Yeah. Folks, if you want to call in, 516-405-2246. Thank you for Payback Carter for being our first ever caller on NBNY.
That's gonna be history. That's gonna be his channel's gonna be bigger than Mike and the Mad Dog. So that's gonna be a historical moment right there.
It is. Right. I want to take a quick look at the Giants' schedule, because the schedule, man,
Are you trying to get me depressed, Sim?
Huh?
You trying to get me depressed with the schedule?
I don't want to get you depressed. That's the last thing that I want to do. But I mean, it's tough, man. Right now on the screen, I have the Giants schedule on the screen, and look, I was trying to get the Jets schedule up too, so we could pull the Jets schedule up. But then, I couldn't get it. But I got the Giants schedule up right now.
Who are the first few games that the Giants play?
I mean, so Jaguars, we already, we played the Jaguars. We played the Cowboys, then Houston, the Saints, the Panthers, the Eagles, the Falcons, the Redskins. Then we have a bye week.
Niners.
Then it's the Niners, the Buccaneers. Play the Eagles again, Chicago, Redskins, Tennessee, the Colts, and then the last game of the season is at home versus the Cowboys. But I mean, there's
no let up in that schedule. There's no let up.
I would say that the games that the Giants would have the best chance to win are probably Tampa, but who knows after this past week. Indianapolis, I think that's like a for sure win, and maybe Tennessee. Those are like the only locks. But based off that, I mean, I know we got some Giants fans in the chat right now, but I'm thinking 6-10, maybe 7-9.
But the only good news about that is all these other, and Payback Carter just said it, all the other teams in the division are playing the same teams.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, the Eagles play the Vikings actually, and the Giants don't. So the Eagles probably have an even tougher schedule than the Giants. So it's at the end of I could see the division winner here winning 9 games, because it is a brutal schedule.
It is. And I look at it, we played probably the toughest team on our schedule the first game of the season. And we went toe-to-toe with them. Now, of course, matchups make games, and things like that. But that's encouraging for me, right? We played probably the toughest team on the schedule, and we were right there with them. So, that's encouraging about what we could do going forward. I think we need to win this game. We can't start off 0-2. We need to win. We need to beat the Cowboys. Got to.
Yeah, as I said in my video earlier today, only 12% of teams that start 0-2 make the playoffs. Yeah. And now, granted, in 2007, the Giants won the Super Bowl. They started 0-2, but you can't bank on that.
I think we started 0-2 in 2012 as well, or 2011. I think we started 0-2.
They might have. I honestly don't remember. They might. Well, they were awful that year until like the last 2 or 3 games, and then they caught fire against your Jets, Ian. With the Cruz 99-yard touchdown.
Yeah, don't remind me. But yeah, I mean, the NFC is absolutely loaded compared to the AFC. The AFC is really cake compared to, the NFC. I mean, in the AFC, you have like easy, in the NFL, no game is really easy, but you have a lot of winnable, a lot of teams that are going to lose some games. You look at Cleveland, Buffalo, maybe hell, even still the Jets, Oakland, possibly, maybe there, Bengals, I don't know. In the NFC, I feel like you only got 1, maybe 2, and that's Tampa and Chicago. Every other team is.
I don't think Chicago's legit. We saw them Sunday night. They're a legit football team.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, Chris and Sim, like, you guys could both answer this question. Who do you think's the worst team in the NFC? Tampa, and then who?
Well, yeah, I would say Tampa, but they just beat the Saints.
Right.
They went into New Orleans and beat the Saints. What a shocker that was.
And every single team in the NFC has, like, their quarterback, right, or the quarterback that specific franchise believes in. Every single team. I can't even think of one that, like, has, like – that's like going into like a rebuilding mode. Maybe Seattle, but they still have a franchise quarterback. They still have a pretty nice defense. And, but.
As you said that, I'm thinking over the teams. You're absolutely right. There's not, unless you want to say Tampa, maybe they're starting to want to get rid of Winston. But other than that, you're right. They either have an up and coming guy like the guy in the Bears, or they have an established quarterback like Trubisky. But you're right. There really is not a team that doesn't have an established quarterback in the NFC.
Yeah,
it's crazy. The NFC is stacked.
Yeah, I got another caller coming in. Let's take this call. You're on live with NBNY. What's popping with you? How you doing?
Hello?
Caller, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're live, man.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's popping?
Hey, what's going on, man?
This is my first time calling in, guys.
Thank you. Well, you're actually only the second caller for this channel, so congratulations.
Oh, that's good.
Second caller ever. What's your take, man? Say that again.
I'm a Jets fan and a Knicks fan. I'm not really a fan of the Giants.
You called the right show because you got a Jets channel and you got a Knicks channel, and I'm a Knicks channel too. So you called the right guys. Let's talk.
Called the right show. I mean, too bad that you're not a Giant or you don't like the Giants and you're a Jets fan, but
he made the right decision. I got your back, man. I got your back.
So what's your take? All right. So since you're a Jets fan, what's your take on the win this weekend? Hello? Oh, maybe we lost them.
I think we just got a first drop call.
Yep, I think we lost them. I don't know what happened, but just taking a gander. We're talking about the NFC. Just taking a gander around the league. Philadelphia pulled out the win over the Falcons. Miami beat Tennessee, as we mentioned earlier. Minnesota, as expected, beat San Francisco. New England, the Patriots beat the Texans. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 48-40 over the New Orleans Saints in the shootout.
That was the bombshell. That was the bombshell of the day. I don't do a knockout pool, but I would imagine in a knockout pool, 90% of people got knocked out in every knockout pool.
Right.
Because how do you not take the Saints week one home against the worst team in football? What we thought was the worst team in football.
Yeah, that game was literally labeled as a lock. There's no chance the Buccaneers can win this game. So I just want to tip my cap to Tampa and their fans out there because, I doubted you for sure, and you guys shut me up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I see another Jet fan I think has a question for you, Ian. Do we still trade for Fowler or do we hand the tight end to Henry?
Hey, what do you mean hand the tight end?
Do we still trade for Fowler or we hand... Oh, I'm sorry. He miswrote. He said he meant the right hang tight with Henry.
Okay, if I was the New York Jets, I would trade for Fowler. I think this guy's a beast, and I would re-sign him. I just think Dante is that vicious, attack mode defensive end that the Jets have lacked for quite some time. So if I was running it, I would trade for him. But I think in reality, I think the Jets are going to wait till probably either the trade deadline to see what's up, or after the season where they don't have to necessarily give up an asset to acquire him. They could just sign him to a deal. But I do know this. I do know that the Jets offered a third-round pick for Dante straight up, and the Jags said, no, we want more. And then the Jets said, never mind. So that's kind of where it stands right now.
See, I don't understand why the Jaguars are contention to win a Super Bowl. Why would they be looking to get rid of a guy like Fowler?
Because he lost his starting spot to Yannick Ngakoue, right? And they declined his option, and they just don't have enough money because you're already paying guys like Malik Jackson, Calais Campbell, AJ Boye, Blake Bortles now. You got a lot of guys that the Jags are paying already, and then you have guys that you need to pay, like Jalen Ramsey is for sure going to get locked up. Leonard Fournette's going to get locked up. So I think the Jags are it's almost a great situation to have because you have just so many great players that there's just going to be some players that you just can't afford. We're going to see it next year with Anthony Barr in Minnesota. There's no way the Vikings can re-sign this guy. Even though he's a great player, he's just going to hit the market.
That might be a guy the Giants want to look at. I like Anthony Barr. He's an athletic linebacker.
Yeah,
man. So continuing to jump around the league, look at the scores of the league. Of course, we know the Jaguars beat the Giants 20-15. The Bengals beat the Colts 34-23. Steelers and Browns tied 21-21. The Ravens beat the Bills 47-3. Kansas City Chiefs beat the Chargers 38-28. The Redskins beat the Cardinals. Panthers beat the Cowboys. Broncos beat the Seattle Seahawks. Packers beat the Bears. Jets beat the Lions 48-17. And the Rams beat the Oakland Raiders 33-13. looking at the matchups for next week, what do you guys that was last week? What do you guys expect for week 2? Any particular matchups just around the league that you're looking forward to? I can read the matchups off if you want to.
Yeah. Well, me and Ian were on his channel today, and we did our daily picks. And Ian, there's like 10 prime matchups this week, right? I mean, it is a crazy week.
It's nuts. I mean, if you are a guy that likes rivalries and whatnot, then week 2 is definitely your week. I'm pulling up week 2 slate of games right now as we speak. But from what I remember, it was just game after game after game. It was just so hard to pick the winner. Trying to think of a game that stands out to me. I mean, just looking at these games. I mean, the Chiefs and the Steelers, that's going to be like a heavyweight bout right there. Yeah. And then, Patriots Jaguars. That's another crazy game.
It's that AFC title game last year. And then you just go down the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule now. I mean, Oakland Denver's a rival game. Giants Dallas is a rival game. Philly. No, that's a bad game. Chiefs Pittsburgh's a great game. This is Minnesota Green Bay.
Minnesota Green Bay is a rival game.
Yeah, Carolina Atlanta. I mean, it's just a great at Baltimore, Cincinnati. I mean, you got a lot of, rival games. It's a very good week for football.
Yeah, and another thing too, for fans to keep their eye on is the Bills just announced that Josh Allen's going to be starting. So like another rookie quarterback, top 10 pick, making his debut.
Yep.
I'm waiting for Baker. You know that.
Yeah, I am too, man. I am too.
Yeah, Jets in Miami, another rival game. Yeah, it's going to be a crazy week of football. Going to be a fun week of football this week.
I see Benny just entered the chat. What's up, Benny? And Ralph Unreal entered the chat. Are they regulars on your show, Sim?
Yeah. Oh, Ralph Unreal. What's going on, Ralph? How you doing? Yeah, Benny's in the chat. Said it's the haters show.
Yeah, he always makes fun of me because he says that we hate on the Yankees.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well.
Hey, I'm a fan too, so I'm rolling with my guys.
Well, he's you joined the wrong show, buddy, because all Mets fans here. Now what, Benny? It's going to be a great week of football coming up. I'm excited. I'm always excited when football comes back, so it's going to be a great week of football. Guess at this point, maybe we talk a little bit of Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always up to talk NBA. You know that.
Yeah, talk a little bit of New York Knicks. Training camp is here. Media Day, September 24th. Training camp begins September 25th. What is it, September 25th to September 30th, and then October 1st, first preseason game versus the Brooklyn Nets. I'm excited, man. I just can't wait to see. I know most people expect for the Knicks to just be bad. I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic. I don't expect them to, contend for a playoff spot, but I'm always optimistic that something can happen. I've seen too many teams from.
Well, you look at the Jazz last year. Nobody had expectations for them, right? They made the second round of the playoffs. So I mean, it could happen. They got a coach that everyone's very high on. I'm not saying it will. I'm not expecting it to, but they do have young talent. You never know. You never know in the NBA.
Yeah, you never know. I'm in the midst right now on this show just going over goals for players to start working on during training camp and preseason. I've been through right now. I think I've been through Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, Tim Hardaway, Frank Ntilikina, Damian Dotson. Tomorrow night I'll go over a few more people. A lot of people have their eyes on Kevin Knox, of course. People want to see what Frank Ntilikina can do. I'm interested to see what Tim Hardaway is going to be able to do. One of the things that I was talking about last night, that Tim Hardaway right now, he's going to be the leader of the team. He's never been in that role before, ever in his career. It's brand new for him to have this much responsibility. I'm interested to see if he's able to, if he can accept it and if he can step up to the plate. I think if Tim Hardaway can step up to the plate and be a leader, if he can improve his efficiency from the floor and not shoot 42% from the field and 31% from three, and then get his attitude together, not pout and cry on the floor, maybe, just maybe, he could contend to be an all-star. He could be mentioned in that breath, if he can do those things. My problem is I don't know that he can do those things.
Yeah, I was not the biggest fan when they signed Hardaway. It was a big contract at the time. Now with the contracts are crazy. What did Chris Paul go for, like $44 million a year, whatever it was? It was crazy. So the $17 million doesn't even look that bad anymore. But one thing I like about Hardaway, he does seem to be putting in the work. I'll say that.
Yes.
Everything I read about the guy and see about the guy, he is a hard worker.
Yes.
But what you said about being an efficient shooter, I don't ever see it. I don't. I really don't. I don't think he's ever going to be more than a 42, 43% shooter. Maybe he gets the three-point percentage up a little bit, but I really don't see him ever being more than a 43% type shooter from the field.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Oh, go ahead, Ian. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, my bad, Sam. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to add a little bit to the conversation. I really want to see how David Fizdale kind of responds, like in game, like his in-game adjustments. Because I love Fizdale when he was at Memphis. I think he's a really good coach, and he's definitely an upgrade, from what they had last year.
Well, I mean, you'd be an upgrade. I mean,
yeah, anyone would be an upgrade to So Tim Hardaway, this is. I don't know who it was I was arguing with, or not really arguing with, but talking to, having the conversations with last night. But he said he thinks that this is going to be Tim Hardaway's best year, that this is going to be his year, like a breakout season for him. He said he thinks Hardaway is going to average 20 points a game, but he also doesn't think he's going to be an efficient shooter. He said 20 to 22 points a game. And to me, just because you average 20 or 22 points, if you're not an efficient shooter, I don't think that means you had a great season. Just because you averaged, a lot of points, that means that you took a lot of shots to get those points. We really need him to be an efficient shooter.
If anything this year, I hope I'm wrong, because I never root against any Knick. I hope every Knick's an all-star. I hope every Knick becomes the next Michael Jordan. But if anything this year, I would think he's going to be more inefficient because he's the guy now, right? So they don't have a Porzingis, so now he's going to get double teamed and all that. I don't see it. I don't see how he's going to be a more efficient shooter.
Right, and then that's the thing: is he able to handle those double teams and the defense really queuing in on him alone? How is he going to respond to that? Because from what I've seen from Tim Hardaway in the past, Tim Hardaway is, he kind of gets in his own feelings, right? And he starts to pout. He's kind of bratty. He's like a brat. He's like a rich brat, really, that wants to be tough or something. But he's kind of bratty, and it shows on the floor.
Yeah. I mean, Starks kind of had a little bit of an attitude too, but he had heart, right? Starks was one of my favorite Knicks ever, but he kind of had that. I remember one time he punted the ball up in the air when I was watching it as a kid.
Yeah.
But I love Starks. He's one of my all-time favorite Knicks. So sometimes I like that attitude, but I get what you're saying with Hardaway. He is a little. I'm with you. I'm not a Hardaway fan.
Yeah. He doesn't have the same type of. I know what you're saying about John Starks and Tim Hardaway. It's not the same thing. Like John Starks would get mad and like headbutt Reggie Miller in the jaw or something, right?
when Starks did it, it was out of passion. Yeah, it was that hard.
Yeah,
but Ian, you're a Net fan, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the Nets anywhere close as like I like the Jets and whatnot, but I definitely prefer Brooklyn in the NBA. I just like kind of that underdog mentality, little brother type of team. And I don't know, when Brooklyn kind of moved to New York, I remember I was in high school, and my favorite player growing up was always Melo, right? And I remember at the time, like Carmelo Anthony, it was just kind of up in the air a little bit. With him and the Knicks, like a lot of the Knicks fans didn't like him, but I really like Melo and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just do a clean slate. I'm going to root for Carmelo Anthony, but I like the Brooklyn Nets. And, it was just kind of then and there where I started like rooting for Brooklyn a little bit. And like I said, I don't like flip out if they lose or, probably because my whole house would be destroyed like by now. But I do like the direction that they're going in, like with D'Lo, he's one of my favorite players and stuff like that. So, and Kenny Atkinson's, I think, a great coach, but yeah, I like the Nets.
Yeah, and you know what? When the Knicks were trying to get Melo, and it came up about the Nets, there was a point where I really felt that he was going to go to the Nets. And I thought at the time it would have been a good fit for him, being that he's from Red Hook, was born in Red Hook, Brooklyn. The Nets were just moving to Brooklyn. I was like, whoa, this could be something big if Melo went to Brooklyn. And I wanted Melo to be in New York, well, with the Knicks. But I was afraid. I really was afraid that he was going to end up going to Brooklyn.
That's when Prokhorov was trying to take over New York, right? With the whole LeBron James, he had the whole banner and all that. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. What do you think the direction the Nets are going? Because in my opinion, the Nets made probably the worst trade, not only in NBA history since I've been watching sports, in sports history, with that whole Paul Pierce and Garnett trade. That was a disgrace.
Well, the RG3 trade's also up there as well. Just like taking a step back, like big picture, the RG3 trade could be in there as well.
Well, that's not New York though. But yeah, well, no, I said all sports. You're right. Yeah, that was a horrible trade too.
Yeah, it could just be me just trying to defend Brooklyn here, but no, I like the direction that the Nets are going in. I think, I mean, you just said, like, you brought up the trade. They finally have their draft picks back, which is kind of a relief. But no, I think both for the Knicks and the Nets, I think they both have an opportunity to make a push. Like, not saying that it's guaranteed, but just make a push for the 8th seed this year with LeBron being out of the East. And I don't necessarily think that both teams will make the playoffs, but if the Knicks make it 8th seed, if the Nets make it, I wouldn't be completely stunned, So
yeah, I really want to see what it's like, and one day it'll be here when the Knicks and the Nets are both really, really good. What it's going to be like in the city when they're both really.
We almost had it in the early '90s with Coleman, and then Petrovic, of course, passed away. Had they stayed together, that would have been a great team, and that would have been fun to watch.
Right. Yeah, that would have been. But yeah, man, I think I agree. I think both teams are headed in the right direction, and ready to, in a couple of years, make some moves in the Eastern Conference. Speaking of, you brought up D'Angelo. I wanted the Knicks to get D'Angelo Russell too. Mm-hmm. I did. I liked when in that draft. I wanted either Moutier or D'Angelo Russell.
So I did. I wanted Moutier too.
Yeah, and then when D'Angelo Russell was drafted, I was like, well, all right, I want Moutier. Then they picked KP, and I was like, oh God. But I knew in my heart that we were gonna pick KP. But I wanted D'Angelo Russell, one, because I liked him. Two, I could buy a jersey and have my last name on the back. So that would have been cool. But I like Frank Ntilikina. Everybody knows it, and I think I want him to start this year. I know you're a Nets fan, but Ian, what do you think about? What's your view of Frank Ntilikina?
Yeah, I like him. I think a lot of people on him and stuff as whatever. He wasn't from here. He didn't play college ball here and stuff. And when he was picked, a lot of the I remember this too, by the way. I think I don't remember the exact channel I was watching it on, but whatever sports network it was, it had bust ratio when this guy was picked. I'm like, they didn't do this for any other player. I'm like, they're just hating on the Knicks right now.
I remember watching that too. They said he had an 85% chance of being a bust. I remember watching that during the draft. You're right. Yeah, I absolutely remember that. That was ESPN. They always hate on New York.
Yeah, it was number one, how did you get that number? Then number two, why are you even saying this? And you didn't bring it up for any other player. But anyway, I think he's a good defender, and him being so young, what is he, 19 or 20? I
think he's 20 now.
Yeah, he's 20 now. He's already an above average defender, and at 20 years old, he could defend really good point guards in the league. So I think the sky's the limit for him. It's going to be interesting to see because Fizdale, he brings that toughness, he brings that attitude to the team. I want to see Ntilikina start. I'm with you, Tim. I think he's good. I don't think he has that shot, but if he could just be the traditional point guard, kind of like the old school point guard, just be the bulldog on defense and then just distribute on offense, I think you can't really be mad at that.
Right. Exactly. I think you can't be mad at that. As a matter of fact, Knicks fans have been crying for that for years. We're the most bipolar group of people on the earth. We are. we cry and complain. You know, we have Derrick Rose, and you know he doesn't play defense, and all he does is go to the basket and doesn't really look to run the offense. So then we get a point guard that can play defense and looks to get other people involved, and then we cry that he doesn't go to the basket enough. I mean, it doesn't matter. We could have Magic Johnson in his prime right now, and we would find some reason to be upset with Magic Johnson in his prime. Oh, he should be right. Small forward because he's 6'8".
That's all New York teams, though. I mean, we're winning their pick. Eli Manning's won us 2 Super Bowls as Giant fans,
right?
And 80% of the Giant fan base says how bad he is.
Right.
It's true. It really is. And don't get me. And I love Eli, and I'm probably biased when it comes to Eli. Like, I defend him because I think so many people bash him that I have to go above and beyond to defend the guy. But, I mean, you just look at him. He's a prime example. New Yorkers just look to hate their athletes. They really do.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We do.
Unless you're Derek Jeter.
Right. Yeah. But I'm looking to get some more calls. And if anybody wants to call in, you can call in 516-405-2246. Let us know, you know, what's your take on the Knicks right now? What's your take on the Nets? And I know I have a Knicks logo up on the screen, but we're talking Nets too. So, you know, what's your take?
Yeah,
give us a call.
Yeah, one thing I just want to add to it as well is that, I mean, I know it's after this season, but both the Knicks and the Nets are going to have they're going to have a lot of money to spend, you know, in free agency, whether it's Kyrie Irving, maybe Jimmy Butler and stuff. So that's going to be really, really cool to see if either the Knicks or the Nets can, like, attract some of these big name free agents.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, going into training camp for the Knicks, I'm looking to see what's going to happen with Courtney Lee, what's going to happen with Joakim Noah. If something is going to happen, I want it to happen before preseason games begin. You know, I like Courtney Lee, and if we keep him, I'm not going to be mad. But I don't want Courtney Lee taking up playing time for, you know, guys that need to be on the floor. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. You know, I mean, Courtney Lee is what, 32 years old or something like that, and you know, our young guys need to play.
I love Courtney Lee. Might be my favorite player on this team. I love Courtney Lee. I love everything about him. I love the way he plays the game, but he just doesn't fit this team. He doesn't fit the team, and they're rebuilding, right? So it's a youth movement. He's not young. They have to get rid of him.
Right, and you know, he's at the point of his career where he should be playing for a team that is at least in playoff contention, I believe. You know, so I think it's only right for him in his career, and I think it's only right for the Knicks and what they're doing to move Courtney Lee, move him into a team that, you know, move him into a good position. You know, do right by him, move him into a good position, so that way it opens up. You know, his career is doing well, opens up room for other guys to play, Damian Dotson, Frank Ntilikina, some of the young guys, maybe even Alonzo Trier. But you know, that's what I would like to see happen with Courtney Lee. Hopefully it does before training camp or preseason begins.
Yeah, I mean, I remember growing up in Florida when Lee was a member of the Orlando Magic. He was on that final squad, and everybody just fell in love with Courtney Lee. He wore like the face mask, like the face guard, like Rip Hamilton did, and everybody just had like Courtney Lee jerseys all over the place.
Yeah, that was, to me, Sim, you're talking about the Magic team, right?
Yep. It went to the final.
Yeah.
I can't believe, I look back at that roster, I can't believe that team made the NBA Finals. They had Jameer Nelson was their starting point guard. They had Turkoglu was, I think, probably their second best player on that team, second or third best player. Obviously Dwight Howard. But that was probably the worst team I've seen make an NBA Finals in my lifetime.
Yeah, they beat LeBron, I believe, in the Eastern Conference that year.
Yeah.
Also, Joakim Noah. I know there are people that want to see Joakim Noah stay around because, you know, he can rebound and he can be maybe he can be a good role model type of guy for Mitchell Robinson. I don't want to say role model, but mentor for Mitchell Robinson. You know, maybe be the bruiser that we don't have. I'm not sure if it actually works though. To me, I don't mind it. It'd be okay, but As long as he can come in and understand what his role is going to be, like David Fisdale or Scott Perry said a few months back. You know, if they're going to get a veteran big man, they want someone that's going to come in and understand his role and understand that he's not going to play a lot of minutes. I'm not sure Joakim Noah is ready for that. I think Joakim Noah might want to be in a position where he can get some minutes and contribute to maybe a playoff team. If it were me,
I personally, Joakim Noah is done. Joakim Noah, I think he's done. I mean, the guy, I think he's finished. I know some Knicks fans are still high on him. I think he's finished.
If it were me, I guess if we have to, I'm willing to see what he can give us. But right now, after some of the things that happened over the summer, in the beginning of the summer, I was like, let's see what he has. Then after, some things with the summer, I just kind of wore on me, and I'm like, let's just get him out of here and, you use that roster spot for on another young player or whatever it is. He, if they stretch him, the good thing is that I originally didn't want to stretch him because I didn't want to have that $5-6 million every year for the next few years. But what I've learned, though, is that if they stretch him, they'll have, a certain amount of his salary cap freed up for the 2019 offseason. If we do not sign anyone, then they could just pay the rest of it in 2019, 2020 and don't have to worry about it. So to me, that sounds like a pretty good deal. So I'm all for stretching them and then using that roster spot on a potential player or a young player or whatever it is.
Yeah, when I first heard about the stretch, I was so against it until I heard about that revision. The fact that they have that revision, that's a big deal. So if they say their plan is to get, because in my opinion, the only reason to stretch them is to have the ability to bring in 2 big free agents next year.
Exactly.
Right? Otherwise, there's no point in stretching them because you're going to be able to bring in one. They're going to have enough money after they get rid of Courtney Lee.
Yeah.
If that's their plan, if they want to bring in Durant and whoever it is, Kyrie, Durant, Butler, whoever it is, then it makes sense to stretch him. And the fact that maybe that's their plan, but if they miss out on one of those guys, now they can bring them back on, so they don't have to stretch them over the next 2 years.
Yeah. So just some things going into training camp, to watch for with the Knicks. I haven't paid as much attention to the Nets, but there haven't been that many storylines going into training camp. Ian, any storylines with the Nets going into training camp?
Yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy, nothing too major. Just want to see just the continuous growth for some of the young guys, right? Like Dinwiddie, Russell. I know they re-signed Smith, right? Or was it Joe Smith, right? The shooter.
Yes.
Or Harris.
Let me see. Who did they do? Let me see what their.
Yeah, he's not some crazy. He's not like a really, really good player, but I know the Nets really want this guy to take the next step forward and become that sharp shooting three-point shooter that you see around the league, like with playoff teams and whatnot. But no, nothing too crazy. I think they're really just trying to push development as opposed to just bringing in random free agents and just hoping for the best. I think they're just really trying to grind out their young players and really just try to max out their potential. So nothing too crazy.
Yeah,
it sounds like they're headed in the right direction, similar to the Knicks. That they're not forcing the process.
Yeah.
It's kind of I mean, it sounds whatever cliche because it's the same exact thing that the Sixers use, but it's just sticking to their guns, just trusting their own process, and really just telling the fans be patient. We're building something special. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
Right. And Joe Harris, I think you were talking about Joe Harris. Do you expect anything from Kenny Fareed?
No, not really. I mean,
the Manimal.
Yeah, dude, I loved Fareed, right? Early on in his career with Denver, I loved him. And where was he before? Marquette, right? That's where he played college?
No, he went to Morehead State, I think. It was a small college. I think it was a really small college. I remember watching him in college.
Yeah, I remember too. And he was just a beast, right? He was a great rebounder. He bring a lot of attitude and hustle to the court. And I remember watching him early on with Denver, his rookie year and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was just completely impressed with him. But then as the years kept going by, I just didn't really see any growth from him, like, at all. He didn't really develop a shot. He still like brings that energy and whatnot. He's still a great rebounder, but as far as him being like the team's best player, I doubt it. I just view him as kind of like a bench player that's just going to get a lot of boards.
Yeah, I agree with you. I always thought he was going to be a borderline superstar. When his rookie year, I think he averaged like 9 to 10 rebounds in like 20, 25 minutes, and he never took that next step. He never took. I looked at him as like a Dennis Rodman type when he first came into the league. I thought he could be that type of player, and he never took off.
Yeah. But you know, the Nets, the one thing I'll say, they got some players that are going to come in and play hard. That's the one thing I'll say for them last year. They played hard every game. You knew you were going to get a lot of hustle. You got Quincy H.C., DeMar Carroll, you know, we were just talking about Kenny Fareed. He's going to play hard. You know, so you got some guys on the team that's going to come out there and play hard. So I think any team that goes up against the Nets, they're going to know that they're going to know they're in a game, because they're going to come out and they're going to play hard. And that right there is almost half the battle. Just playing hard, just coming out and giving it all hard every single game. For 48 minutes, that means a lot, and I think you're going to get that from the Nets this year.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you look at teams that are successful. Sim rather was making me think of the Spurs when he was talking like that, because the Spurs don't always have the most talent, but their players buy in. They all play very hard. They give you 100% effort every night, and that's why they always win 55 games every year. Yeah, Sim's absolutely right. Half the battle is getting these guys to play as hard as they could possibly play.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I was just going to add to Sim's point. I just feel like it's all about just establishing a strong brotherhood, you know, developing that strong chemistry in the locker room, and getting that like winning mindset, not just like losing, not tanking, not, you know, trying to lose on purpose, sitting really good players to like, you know, lose. You know, I don't like that mindset at all when it comes to any sport. But I think if Coach Atkinson can get these guys ready to play and really have everybody just buy into his system and buy into what he's preaching, I think it'll be an interesting year. Even though I don't think the Nets are going to be that good, I still feel as though it's going to be entertaining to watch. Like, even though they probably lose a lot of games, they'll be competitive probably midway through the third quarter. You know, probably, you know, maybe even the full 3 quarters, and then start to tail off, as opposed to the game being over midway through the second. So,
yeah.
I don't mean to change subject. I'm just reading the chat. Benny asked how we did in our fantasy league first week.
Well, I mean, you know, I think I lost 128 to 115 to Knicks Fan TV. And I go down and I look at my bench and I'm like, man, if I would have did this and this, I would have won. You know, so I
lost by like 60 points. My team got demolished.
I seen that.
Yeah, I know I lost too. I forgot who I played though. I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, I mean, I definitely made some switches. I mean, I had Crowell on the bench. That was a mistake. I had Jared Cook on the bench. That was a mistake. So, and I started Kelvin Benjamin too. He only had 1 catch for I think like 10 yards. So I definitely need to work on my lineup a little bit, but I really can't wait for next week.
I need to work on my lineup. I need to play the waiver wire a little bit. I've already made a mover, so I haven't checked to see if I got who I wanted. Made a move or 2 in the waiver wire. Ben Roethlisberger disappointed me. I expected a little more. I got 11 points from Ben. I thought I was going to get a little bit more from him. If he didn't throw those picks, I'm
shocked he even got you 11 points. He turned the ball over like 4 times.
Yeah. So, you know, I wasn't terribly disappointed. So, you know, I'll see. I'll see what I do. I think next week I play, what's his name? Is it Dizzy? I think that's what it. Yeah, I play Dizzy next week. And right now, I'm projected to win 143-128. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Projections don't always come to fulfillment.
Yeah, that's just a projection. We'll see what happens. I have, you know, got to really take a look at it. And okay, so I did get All right, good.
So I got a question for you, Sim. Ian and I, we both know who our surprise team is this year in the NFL. Ian chose the Redskins, who looked really good week 1. What they won, like 24-6?
Something like that. I know Alex Smith did really well, and just the defense held. I know for a fact the Cardinals only had 6 points.
Yeah, I think it was 24-6, and I chose the Broncos. A lot of experts have them going 5-11, whatever. Those are our 2 breakout teams. Who's your surprise team this year?
The Redskins, because I just feel that Alex Smith is so much more is a steady quarterback. The Redskins have a lot of talent. I pay attention to them a lot because I live here. They have a lot of talent on the team, and I feel like he's going to be the guy that can get the ball around to everyone. And I think Chris Thompson is going to have a breakout. If he can stay healthy, I think he'll really break out this year.
Paul Richardson's another guy.
Who?
Paul Richardson, the wide receiver from Seattle too, who I think is going to have a pretty big year.
Right.
Yeah, he's an explosive receiver. That was a nice piece they added there.
And then then you got a trusty, I guess maybe you want to say trusty guy with Adrian Peterson, who, if you really need something and you're hurting, because they have a problem with their running backs, and of course Reed always getting hurt, but their running backs getting hurt. Adrian Peterson hasn't been the healthiest, but they got some guys that can make some plays and make some things happen, and I just feel like Alex Smith might be the right guy to come in there, even if he's just managing what's going on. I think he's going to be the right guy to get the ball around to people, and they scare me.
You're speaking Ian's language, because that's his favorite, not just quarterback, that's his favorite player in the entire NFL is Alex Smith.
I'm a big Alex Smith guy. Yeah, I just like his consistency. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a Jets fan. We haven't had consistency, so maybe I just envy that a little bit. But I just like the players that come in, work hard, and they might not be the most talented, like Rodgers or Kirk Cousins, Roethlisberger, anything crazy. But I just like Alex Smith. Just he's faced a lot of adversity, so I like to ride with Alex.
I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be. With the Redskins here, there's always a lot of media and criticism. I think he's going to be able to handle it without a problem, because like you said, he's been through a lot in his career. I don't think he's going to have a problem. He's mature. I think he's exactly what they needed at that quarterback position to get these guys together. So they do kind of scare me a little bit. Speaking from a Giants fan perspective, they scare me a little bit, but I think that they might be able to do something. I do. I think they might be able to surprise some people.
Yeah, they impressed me week 1. I'll tell you that. I thought when the running back went down, the guy they drafted in the first round, second round rather. What's his name again?
There he is, Guys.
Guys from LSU, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought when he went down, I kind of was like, all right, I'm going to forget about them. I thought that was really going to hurt their offense, but they look good week 1. They got the Colts week 2, so they could be easily 2-0 at the at the end of Sunday. Yeah, what is that? The Giants start with the Jaguars. They start with the Cowboys, the division rival in Dallas. They got the Colts. They got Arizona. What's with that? Why can't we get that started?
Right. But yeah, with the Redskins, Kirk Cousins was always kind of erratic, and he didn't always have the confidence. I watched a lot of Redskins games. He didn't always have the confidence, and I think that. It showed a lot, and I think you're going to see just something different. I don't think he had a good command of the huddle. I don't think people respected him, and I think with Alex Smith is going to change all of that. I really do, and that's who my surprise team is in the league.
Great minds think alike. You guys got the same team. They were not on my radar this year. I'm going to be honest. They snuck up on me week 1. I did not think they were going to be a very good football team.
Yeah, so I actually have a question for both of you guys right now, and it might be a little early to ask this, but do you guys think Jameis Winston is the long-term answer in Tampa? Do you think they're gonna re-sign to some huge deal, or do you think they're just gonna let him go?
You want me to start? You want me to start, Sam? Or you?
Go ahead, you can start.
Okay. I think talent-wise, I think Jameis Winston is as talented as almost any quarterback in football. He's a top probably 8 talent at the quarterback position, but he's just missing something. Obviously he's had his controversy off the field, whether it be in the pros or in college. It's just something missing with him. So, no, my honest answer is no. I don't think he's going to be the future. If I was the GM, he would not be the future of my franchise. at the position.
I'm with you. I don't think he's going to be the future either. You know, I mean, they haven't. I mean, I think there was a point when people were looking and saying, "Oh, wow, Tampa Bay could do something," but it's I don't know. He's missing something, and I just, like you said, he's missing something. I don't think he's going to be there. I have a cousin that lives in Tampa, and he wants him gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just really interesting because like this guy comes in like super highly touted and obviously the first pick in the draft, and then he could just be gone after having a pretty solid rookie season too. Like he put up great numbers and stuff, but he could just be gone after 4 years, right? Just like play out his rookie contract after being the #1 pick, being a quarterback, albeit, and he could just be like playing QB for another team. It's just, I just find it weird.
I mean, we've seen that before. Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf was the 2nd overall pick. Mm-hmm. You know, we've seen it. Yeah.
The thing is that it's just like I don't really see Winston as like a bust, you know. Like I definitely see him getting picked up again. You know?
For sure, he's not going to be out of the league. Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree. Okay, let me tell you. I know during the draft, because I've watched all your videos, you were not super high on Sam Darnold. You were begging for Josh Rosen, and I think you even like Baker more, right? And before the draft, you wanted Baker more than Darnold as well,
right?
After watching him week 1, after watching him in the preseason, where do you think he's going to go? Do you think he is going to be an elite quarterback in this league? Yeah.
Well, I was definitely impressed, right?
I mean, you can't tell off week 1, but obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely impressed with what he showed to everybody, just like him with kind of what he has and him being on like the grandest stage of them all, the youngest quarterback, whatnot. I was totally impressed. Maybe it's just because I'm the type of guy that I don't really like a lot of interceptions. You know, I don't like a lot of like being loose. I don't like being careless with the football and stuff like that. Maybe that's why I kind of lean more towards Rosen and Mayfield in the pre-draft. But you know, I don't want to say that we got our guy, because I've been wrong with, Jets fans have been wrong with Mark Sanchez and, you know, all these other guys, Bryce Petty, Hackenberg, Geno Smith, all these guys. You know, the Jets have just been wrong and wrong and wrong. I would like to think we finally got our guy, but only time will tell on that.
You know who he reminds me of a little bit when I watched him play? Andrew Luck. He does. He reminds me of Andrew Luck a little bit, because Andrew Luck, when he first came in, he had a lot of mobility too. He was able to run a lot. He doesn't do so much anymore with the injuries, and he's got a cannon for an arm too. When I was watching him play opening night, he reminded me of Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. Like I said, I was definitely impressed. I'm definitely pumped up to have Sam. And I like how he's super calm too. I like how how he can bounce back when he faces, you know, when something goes wrong. It's not the end of the world. It's funny, you know, we were just talking about Jameis Winston. He has the same exact thing, like at least back at Florida State, where, you know, he would throw 3 picks in the first half and then just bounce back, you know, from a 28-point deficit, just come back and win the game, you know, for the Seminoles. The problem is, you know, at the National Football League level, you shouldn't be throwing 3 picks and stuff like that in the first half, you know. And, you know, I've actually been seeing a lot of that stuff, you know, on TV, on sports radio in the past day. Just people, because Sam has a lot of hype, right? Sam has a lot of fans, like in the media. And I just keep seeing all the time, like, you know, oh, it's okay, Sam Darnold's going to throw pick sixes. He's going to, you know, throw the ball to the other team a lot, and that's completely fine. I kind of want to backtrack on that and say, we can't just overlook that and just say, okay, you know, let's just allow him to throw picks, you know, like, and just hope he bounces back every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. He's not your type of quarterback, because he's a gunslinger. He really is. You saw it the first play of the game. But hopefully he could confine his game a little bit and become a more efficient quarterback. But I like him a lot. I'm going to be honest, as a Giant fan, and I love Saquon Barkley. I love Saquon Barkley. I'm kind of regretting not taking him. I really think he is going to be a great quarterback. Yeah, I really, and I'm not upset that we have Barkley. Barkley is fantastic, but this guy, he looks good, Sam. Darnold looks really good. I'm not going to lie. I got to be honest. He looks really good.
You see what I mean? I'm not.
It's one game. It's one game.
Yeah, I'm not regretting it because I really like Saquon Barkley. And it's one game against, average at best defense, I would say. So we'll see what happens from there.
Barkley's going to be great, don't get me wrong. But a franchise, a guy like that, that's hard. That's hard to see. All right, let's put it this way: if the Jets go and win 2 or 3 Super Bowls with Darnold as their quarterback, that's going to be the worst move probably in Giants history, not taking him. That's why that was a ballsy move to pass up on that quarterback. Right, and I hope, that we both win Super Bowls. But
I think. But the thing is, okay, let's say he's with the Jets and they win 2 or 3 Super Bowls. He could have been with the Giants and not won the Super Bowls. And then Saquon Barkley went to the Jets. They probably wouldn't have drafted Saquon Barkley. But if they did, just say they did, and he won 2 Super Bowls because the formula was there, then everyone would say, oh, we should have took Saquon Barkley. I mean, the formula has to be there with the team as well, right? Because we can't say that Phillip Rivers would have won 2 Super Bowls if he came to the Giants instead of Eli Manning, right?
I don't think he would have, to be honest with you. I really don't think Rivers... And I think Rivers is just as good on a regular season quarterback. Rivers is just as good as Eli.
I'm sorry. I said that reverse. I mean, we can't say that the Chargers would have won 2 Super Bowls if Eli Manning would have went to the Chargers. I should have said it the opposite way. We can't.
I think it holds true for both scenarios. I don't necessarily know the Giants win any Super Bowls if Rivers was their quarterback either.
Right. So I mean, it takes the right formula as well. So we could have said, we didn't get Sam Darnold and he won Super Bowls with the Jets, but it doesn't mean that he would have won them if he would have came to the Giants because maybe the formula just wasn't there. And look, if he would have came to let's say the Giants would have drafted Sam Darnold, he would have been on the bench.
Oh, for sure. The year 1, yeah.
Right.
The thing is this. I think if they would have taken Darnold, Eli wouldn't have been on this team anymore. They would have known going into the draft they had the number 2 pick. They wouldn't. I don't think Eli would have been on the team.
You think so?
Yeah, personally, I think that's why Eli's still on the team. I think they would have released Eli and taken a Darnold or whoever, a top tier quarterback there.
So let me ask you guys this question real quick. Pre-draft, right before the draft kicked off, who did you guys want the Giants to pick? Like a quarterback or Barkley? Who did you guys honestly want?
I honestly wanted Barkley. The day of the draft, I wanted Barkley.
Yeah, I wanted Barkley.
Same for you.
The reason why I wanted Barkley is because I still believe in Eli. I still believe Eli has a couple. 2 or 3 more decent years, and I believe that you can. I believe that there's ways to get a quarterback, and I just believe that there's ways to get a quarterback.
I agree with that. I mean, playing devil's advocate, you could say the same thing about a running back, right? If you build a good offensive line, you could put in a mediocre running back. That's and you saw it with the Jets when they were the ground and pound team. They had Thomas Jones, who's a good running back. He led the league in rushing. He was not a league-leading rusher-type running back, but they had an all-pro offensive line. So you could say, but I understand that Barkley is special, okay? You watch that guy play. He is special.
And I feel like, we've seen teams win Super Bowls that have terrible quarterbacks.
Yeah, there's a handful. You got Brad Johnson. You've got Flacco's mediocre, right?
Flacco's mediocre
as well.
Yeah. There's been a Trent Dilfer, you said, right? Yeah. There's been the Redskins. The Redskins won 3. That's a crazy stat to me. I think it was within a 6 or 7 year span. They won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks.
Yeah. So I think that we seen Phil Simms was the quarterback for 10 games or however many games it was, and then Jeff Hostetler take over and win the Super Bowl.
Well, you saw it last year with Foles too, backup quarterback. They won the Super Bowl.
And I'm not saying that you could just pick up any quarterback, of course, but I think that if you have you have a good line and you have good backs and you have a lot of talent, you can get a quarterback that can just do what needs to be done and be successful until you get that guy, I think.
Look at Dak Prescott on Dallas. That's a perfect example of rookie year. They had the perfect situation for him and he thrived under it. Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with the coaches too and the schemes. Like Andy Reid, for example, Ian knows I love Andy Reid. He's the type of guy that puts his offensive players in the best situations. Shermer's the same way. Last year with Minnesota with Case Keenum. If you have a coach and a system, you could have a mediocre quarterback and he could thrive in it.
Yeah. And you know what? To tell you the truth, either way, I don't think the Giants could have went wrong, right?
Well, they could have, but
I mean, they could have. I mean, I'm saying either pick.
Yeah. No, I mean, Barkley's gonna, as long as Barkley's healthy, I think Ian would probably agree with this. He's gonna be a top 3 or 4 running back in the league for the next 7 or 8 years. I think you'd agree with that, Ian, right?
I would probably say right now he's a top 6 running back in the league right now.
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, you got guys like Leonard Fournette, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Zeke Elliott. But you could make the argument. I personally would rather have Barkley than Zeke because, is Zeke a product of the offensive line? I don't know. But I don't know, man. I definitely think that the Giants, they reached on Saquon. Like if I was running the Giants, I personally would have either picked Josh Rosen just right there too, or traded back and try to get Bradley Chubb, or even Quentin Nelson too. Like I know, like obviously before they got Will Hernandez, but that's what I would try to do if I was the Giants, try to like accumulate some picks because I know there was like teams calling a trade up, like the Jets were calling, Buffalo was calling, and
the Colts too. I think they said.
Yeah, Colts and even
Buffalo.
Miami was trying to come up as well too. So that's what I would have done. I would have tried to trade back.
Okay.
I agree with you on draft night. That was what I wanted the most. I wanted to trade down first because I thought that they could get a king's ransom, similar to what you said about the RG3 trade. I would have wanted something like that, and if not that, if they stayed where they were, I wanted Barkley. But I agree, I would have done the trade down first had they been offered like an obscene trade, like 3 first-round picks or whatever they gave up to move up to get RG3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that didn't happen with all the quarterbacks in this draft. That is one thing I want to know. That we'll never know what the Giants were offered for that pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And they probably will. They will, unless another team leaks it. They definitely will not.
No,
they definitely will not. Yeah,
for sure. But get him as the type of GM that is set in his ways. He's you look over his history. He's never made a big trade during a draft. If he sees a guy he wants, that's who he's going to take, and that's what happened in last year's draft.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see how it works out for us. Let's see how.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, what? We have anything else on the docket?
I mean, we talked Knicks, we talked Giants, we talked Jets, we talked Nets. We talked Nets for like 15 minutes. Yeah. I didn't expect that to happen, right?
Well, it's been a great show. I'm very grateful for those who've joined in the chat. We had a good number of people to come in for the first chat, for the first live chat. With I think we had a good number of people join us. So it's been great, man.
Yeah, I had a great time, and I want to thank everybody who came in the chat that watched us talk sports for what has it been, an hour and a half. I always have fun when I talk to you guys. You two guys are my 2 favorite YouTubers. You really are, and you guys are great guys, and you guys know your stuff. So I love talking sports with you guys.
Appreciate that, man.
Thanks so much, bro. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I guess we're gonna look to try to do this again next Wednesday.
Well, we were talking possibly if people might be interested, we might do a live stream for at least the first half or so of the Giants game Sunday night.
Right. Yeah, for maybe the first half or pregame or something. We'll let you know how we'll do it. When we talk about it. So look forward to that Sunday. We'll shoot out the details so that everybody knows what's going on. Maybe we do like a pregame, halftime, and postgame or something like that.
That'd be cool. The only thing is you got your Knicks show Sunday, right?
Yeah. I can't do post game. Because I have to. I'll be on NothinButKnicks on Sunday.
Yeah. But we'll figure it out. We'll do something for the Giants game hopefully Sunday.
Figure that out. All right. Well, it's been great, Ian. We really honored to have you as our first guest on the live stream. We did the live stream. We did the draft the other night, but. As far as the official show, extremely honored to have you be the first guest on the live.
Hey man, I'm the one that feels honored. It was my pleasure to come on. Really appreciate it, and shout out to everybody that's that hung around and talked New York sports with us tonight. It was a freaking blast.
And anytime you want to come back on, you're more than welcome. I mean, your stuff, and I love talking football with you. So I'm sure Sim feels the same way.
Yeah, I feel the
and vice versa with my channel as well. So
definitely. All right. Well, if this is it, guys, I guess I'll you know, end it off here. We thank you guys in the chat for well, Entertainah. Any last words before we head off? Any last words?
I'll just do what I always do in my videos. As always, cheers.
Cheers. All right. Peace. We'll see you guys later.